Today I'm going to be talking about writing data to a file. The first way, and what I think is the best way for most situations, is to use the print method. If you can print it to the screen, you can send the output to a file. Let me show you how. So above you have a list. I'm going to print that list to the screen first, and then I'm going to print it to a file. Okay, so there you see, there are the names printed to the console. Now I'm going to print it to a file. Okay, let's run that. Okay, so it displayed on the screen first for the first for loop, and then it created a file called names. If you open it, you'll see there it is printed to the file. Okay, so let me explain this code a bit. You use the same with open as you would do when you are reading files, as I showed you in my previous tutorial, but you use the write mode, which you use a W in quotes. That means it's going to write the file. If the file exists, it will overwrite the file. Okay, so don't forget that and think you're appending to the file. It's going to make a new file every time. Okay, so let's make a new list for ages, and then I will show you how to make a comma separated value file and put the two lists together in a file. Okay, so now we've got two lists, names and ages. We're going to extract both those lists using a very cool function called zip. What it does is it extracts values out of more than one list, and it will extract to the shortest list. So the lists don't have to be the same size. It will just extract to the shortest list. So now I'm going to run that code and display it on the screen, and you can see there it's displaying it with a comma in between. If you don't want a space there, take that out. Okay, so that's a nice comma separated value on the screen. Now I'm going to send the output to a file. Okay, so I'm going to run that. Okay, so you'll see it's now created a names CSV here. So now you can see it's a nicely comma separated file. Right, now let's talk about the write function. The write function writes exactly what you tell it to. It does not add line breaks or any formatting. You will need to include that on your own. Let me show you an example. Okay, so let me run that. Right, and you'll see it's created a names underscore write. And there you have it. It has written all the names right next to each other on the same line. And that's not exactly what you want. So to fix that, you need to add or concatenate the new line character. Okay, so let's run that again. Let's open the file, and there you go. Everything's on a new line. One thing you need to be aware of, text files cannot write numbers. If you want to write numbers, you need to convert the numbers to a string using the str function. Let me demonstrate. If you run this, you will get an error because it'll tell you that it cannot write integers to a file. It needs to be a string. If I run that, you'll see it gives you write argument must be string, not an integer. Okay, so how do we fix that? We convert it using the string function. Okay, and I'm also going to add in the new line character here, otherwise everything is on one line. Do that, and now it will work. There you go, everything on a new line. Right, now I'm going to show you how to open more than one file so that you can read from one and write to another. Okay, so let me show you. So that took that night before docs.txt and it made a copy of it, and you can see there it is. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video on how to write data to a file. Have a great day. Cheers.